What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. Welcome to our daily show where we discuss the fourth stimulus package update, daily news, pretty much everything going on here in our country and in Washington, D.C., money, investing, the stock market, everything you need to know about on a daily basis. Remember, the new videos come out here on our channel every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to subscribe down below. It's completely free to do so you don't miss out on new videos. I will keep you up to date with everything going on here that you need to know about. First up is that the country could default in as little as around 2 weeks. That would mean that the Treasury Department, would literally run out of money. And we almost had this happen about 2 months ago, or a little bit less than 2 months ago. And here we are yet again. And this would mean the Treasury Department of the United States would literally run out of money. And we've had the president say that Social Security payments might be missed, child tax credit payments to 65 million children and families might be missed, or probably would be missed because the Treasury Department wouldn't have any money to pay for it. Bond payments and interest payments would be missed. Payments to servicemen would be missed, and the full faith and credit of the United States would literally go. The stock markets and pension funds, 401ks, and everything would be at risk as early as December 3rd. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen says it could be as late as December 15th, and that's kind of the X date window. Now, they're saying somewhere between December 3rd and December 15th, they have to basically pass a bill either through the reconciliation process, this next stimulus package, which has to pass the House and the Senate and be signed by the president by then. That means the House has to pass it, and Joe Manchin and the Senate has to come to an agreement, pass it, and have the president sign it, and not have a lengthy 9-day signing ceremony process, right? They have to literally sign it ASAP to get the debt limit raised, or come to an agreement with the Republicans, which the Republicans say they're not going to do. Well, an interesting thing has happened. Mitch McConnell and Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer are speaking again. Yep. You can see here, as of late last night, 7:53 p.m., Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer and Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell talk on debt ceiling. And remember, this comes after Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer blasted Mitch McConnell and the Republicans right after Mitch McConnell helped them pass the deal last time. And Mitch McConnell vowed to never help them again after they helped them. Now, mind you, both sides, really, it's their job to do this. But I have a feeling that Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer might be having to, dare I say, eat a little bit of crow to kind of ask Mitch McConnell for his help to pass the bill, even though he shouldn't have to do that. The problem is if they don't pass this stimulus package here in his 2 weeks, and the House and the Senate and the president sign it, they're going to have to ask the Republicans for help yet again. Remember, the Republicans said they weren't going to do it. Here's the details. Senate Majority Leader, Democrat from New York, Chuck Schumer, and Senate Minority Leader, Republican from Kentucky, Mitch McConnell, are now talking about the debt ceiling as the country heads towards a borrowing cliff as soon as next month, where the country would literally default. It's like going broke. It's like going bankrupt, pretty much, the United States government. Two sources told The Hill that the two Senate leaders have talked about the issue, though both caution that the discussions are in the early stages. Yeah. There are discussions that at least initially underway on that. We'll see where it lands, said Senator John Thune, a Republican from South Dakota, Mitch McConnell's number 2. That's a pretty credible source. So they are talking whether or not they'll get 10 Republicans to vote for it. Well, that's another issue. Because remember that last time around, they barely got the 10 Republicans. They got 11 Republicans. And then literally like 1 minute after the vote passed and they got the 11 Republicans, they needed 10 Republicans to pass the bill to get the 60 votes in the Senate. Chuck Schumer literally went on a rant and basically just told the Republicans that they were like the worst people ever right after the 11 Republicans helped them. So the and even Senator Joe Manchin, Democrat, you could see him in the background. He literally put his hands over his head, went like this, and was like, "What are you doing, Chuck? Like, they just helped us pass the bill." And Joe Manchin actually walked out of the room. I remember showing you guys the video, and I was kind of like, "What are you doing? Like, they just helped you pass the bill." Now, I get it saying that maybe to the 39 other Republicans. Well, I don't know, but you got the job done. It's not like go over and shake the hands to the 11 people that helped you and say, all right, we did it. And you don't have to shake the hands to the people that didn't help you. But here we are like 2 months later and like you need their help again. And you just basically told them like to F off. And it's like, yeah, now you expect them to help you again. Yeah. I'd want to be the type of person like if I was a Senate Majority Leader, anybody that ever helped me, I'd be like taking them out to dinner or something and be like, hey, make sure you help me again because anybody from the other party that ever helped me, I'd be wanting to keep those people in my back pocket. Like, yeah, I got people from the other party that are helping me out occasionally. Like, those are my best friends, right? They're from the other party helping me out. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen warned lawmakers in a letter on Tuesday that they will hit the X date, the date when the government will no longer be able to pay its bills, on December 15th. They earlier said that it could be as early as December 3rd. So that's kind of the X date window, somewhere between December 3rd and December 15th, which one way or another, they're going to have to pass a bill to extend the debt limit or the debt ceiling. Now, no, this is interesting. Democrats haven't yet said how they will raise the debt limit or the debt ceiling, which is interesting because they're trying to pass the stimulus package in the House, and they haven't even said if they're going to even put it in there. After the Senate Republicans put up 11 votes earlier this year to help advance the debt bill, though every Republican voted against raising the debt limit on the final vote passage, they came under fierce criticism from conservatives for helping advance the debt bill. McConnell, in a letter to Biden shortly after the vote, vowed that Republicans wouldn't help again after they got blasted by Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer. They also are trying to come to a compromise on a government shutdown bill, which also has a December 3rd date as well. We have several Republican senators demanding that to get their vote, and they're trying to gather more Republican senators on board, that for the Republican Senate vote, that there must be border wall funding included in that bill as a compromise, which would mean that they would have to restart the border wall construction and include billions of dollars of funding for it. Something that's obviously President Biden is against. That would be a very sticky point, but that is something that at least 5 Republican senators are demanding be in the border or be in the government shutdown bill on December 3rd. And if they get enough Republican support, we could see a government shutdown. They could tie that to the debt limit as well. But remember, we can't have a government default. It would literally be the worst thing to ever happen to our country, barring some major world wars and stuff like that. We really don't want to have that happen. It would be a terrible thing. The House schedule, the House of Representatives, suggests that they will start debating, which is kind of the initial stages of the voting process, on the stimulus package, the Build Back Better package, or the American Families Plan, for the massive social spending bill here in the House of Representatives, that they will start the debate process on that as early as today. House Majority Leader Steny Hoyer has said that they will possibly or will start that here today. as they wait on the Congressional Budget Office score. Okay. Also, we have a lot of details that the Congressional Budget Office score would be pretty hard to ignore. And we're getting a lot of details that the score may be not paid for. Maybe not paid for. And if that comes back not paid for, that's going to be a very big question on whether or not the Democrats are going to vote for it, or the moderate Democrats are going to vote for it. However, you can see here Representative Kildee says that the U.S. House, or the Democrats, do have enough votes to pass the Build Back Better after the Congressional Budget Office estimate comes back. So according to Democratic Representative Kildee, they do have enough votes to pass the Build Back Better package after the Congressional Budget Office estimate comes back, but we don't actually know what the estimate is going to say yet. The other thing that's probably looking more and more certain is that when the House passes this bill, is that the Senate is probably going to drastically change the bill. And we're going to see Joe Manchin and Kirsten Sinema, but mostly Joe Manchin versus Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders largely considered the head of the stimulus package and negotiations versus Joe Manchin. Here's what Senator Bernie Sanders has to say about getting more in the bill for people.
They are about the deficit and the national debt. They tell us that we just don't have enough money to expand Medicare, to cover dental care for seniors, to cover hearing aids, to cover eyeglasses. We just don't have enough money to do what every other major country on earth does, and that is guarantee paid family and medical leave. At a time when hundreds of thousands of bright young people are unable to afford a higher education and millions are struggling with student debt, my colleagues tell us that we just don't have enough money to provide 2 years of free tuition at community colleges. When we have over 500,000 Americans sleeping out on the streets, including a few blocks away from the nation's capital, we just don't have enough money to build the low-income and affordable housing this country needs. And at a time when the scientists are telling us that we face an existential threat in terms of climate change, we are told that we just don't have enough money to transform our energy system away from fossil fuel and create a planet that will be healthy and habitable for our kids and future generations. Just don't have enough money. Yet today, the U.S. Senate will begin consideration of an annual defense budget that costs $778 billion. $778 billion for 1 year. And that is $37 billion more than President Trump's last defense budget, and $25 billion more than what President Biden requested. And by the way, all of this money is going to an agency, the Department of Defense, that continues to have massive cost overruns year after year, wasting enormous amounts of money, and is the only major governmental agency in the federal government not to successfully complete an independent audit. Now, isn't it remarkable how even as we end the longest war in our nation's history, the war in Afghanistan, concerns about the deficit and the national debt seem to melt away under the influence of the military-industrial complex. People sleeping out on the street, People dying because they don't have any health care, kids unable to get the early childhood education they need, not a problem. Can't afford to pay for those things. But somehow, when it comes to the defense budget and the needs of the military industrial complex, we just cannot give them enough money. But that is not all, and I want the American people to know this, because I suspect many don't. It is very likely that in the defense bill, or attached to the defense bill, there will be a so-called competition bill. And this bill is a $250 billion bill that includes $52 billion in straight corporate welfare with no strings attached for a handful of extremely profitable microchip companies. Now, is there a problem in that our country is not producing the kind of microchips and the number of microchips that we should? The answer is yes. It's an issue that we have to deal with it. But we can deal with it in a way other than simply handing money to a handful of enormously profitable corporations with no protection for the taxpayer at all. Oh, and by the way, I should also mention that as part of the so-called competition bill, there is also a $10 billion handout to Jeff Bezos, one of the wealthiest people in our country, for space exploration. Combining these two pieces of legislation would push the price tag of the defense bill to over $1 trillion for 1 year. And I want people to remember that, because when we talk about Build Back Better, you talk about a 10-year bill. This is 1 year. Meanwhile, while there is limited discussion about the defense bill or corporate welfare in the competition bill, Congress has spent month after month discussing the Build Back Better Act, which on an annual basis costs far less than the Pentagon budget, and discussing whether or not we can afford to protect the working families of our country whose needs have been ignored decade after decade, who in many cases are living paycheck to paycheck, can't afford housing, can't afford prescription drugs, can't afford to send their kids to college. We can't address their needs. No. Because we're too busy worrying about throwing money at the Pentagon and large profitable corporations.
Well, there you have it. Senator Bernie Sanders, he's always has a somewhat different point of view. And he's always kind of been known as the voice of the people, voice for the people, voice for the common everyday man, the voice for the low-income people. You could let me know if you disagree with that kind of opinion there. But there you say Bernie Sanders saying, they're going to spend $778 billion just in 1 year of defense. And then when you combine that with the Competition Act, over $1 trillion in just 1 year. Just 1 year. Okay. And, the National Defense Authorization Act, which they just actually I'll report that in the next video. They actually just advanced it in the Senate. That's every year on a yearly basis. Okay, and that's after we pulled out of Afghanistan. We're still spending more on the National Authorization Act. They've still increased it, and so yeah, you can let me know your thoughts. So it's like we're still spending more on defense, but yet we've pulled out of Afghanistan. Now we're not technically spending the money there in Afghanistan, but yet they're in Congress debating month after month after month about whether we can give seniors benefits like hearing, dental, and vision, and whether we can reduce the cost of childcare for millions of families across the country, and whether we can give preschool to millions of children for free, or whether they need to pay thousands of dollars per year for it. So most other first world countries, preschool is free. Here in the United States, if you want to send your kid to preschool, you have to pay thousands of dollars for it in most states. So, I mean, these are the things that they're debating on right now. And remember, not a single Republican is going to vote for this bill. Just so we're all being clear here. That's not a political statement of mine. That's just the facts. Um, and remember, I'm not from either party. I'm just kind of letting you guys know. Most of you guys know if you've been watching the show for a while. Most of you guys pretty much know this. Um, yeah, and I mean, lowering the cost of prescription drug prices. I mean, that has been debated on for years. For years. Both Republicans and Democrats have been trying to get that done for years. And it looks like they're finally going to get that done in this bill. It's not everything that they've wanted, but a lot of it is in this bill. Extending the child tax credits, which the monthly checks to 65 million children, which weren't even monthly checks before this last stimulus package. Those child tax credits have been going on for, let me think about this, I think it's 26 years. But remember, they've been significantly increased now to $3,000 per child for children ages 6 through 17. And for children under the age of 6, it's $3,600, and it has the monthly check option as well. Remember, before that, they were only $2,000, and you had to have an income requirement before. Okay, so they go out to significantly more people now, and there's significantly more money. They want to extend those monthly checks for one more year. There's a lot of things in this package. There's going to be $25 billion more of rental assistance, and who knows what is going to be in this bill by the time the Senate changes it, because honestly, the bill could be significantly different by the time Bernie Sanders and Joe Manchin have at it. You just heard Bernie Sanders. If anybody can get more things added into the bill, it will be Bernie Sanders. I mean, you heard him. So, in fact, remember that he had a significant role in adding stimulus checks into the second stimulus check package. And who knows where we'll be here by the time he's done with it. It's going to kind of be an interesting battle with Senator Bernie Sanders versus Joe Manchin here when it gets to the Senate here. So I'll keep you up to date with everything here. And I will start the What's in the Box contest in the next video. So definitely make sure to watch here for the What's in the Box contest. We're going to give away a total of $1,000 here to our viewers. And we're going to do it again in December. So make sure to watch. Make sure to subscribe down below. New videos come out here every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can click here to watch my newest stimulus video next. Don't miss out on any new videos at this point. Make sure to subscribe. Thanks, guys, and I will see you in the next video.